Hey, so you say you want to get into vintage card collecting, but you don't know where to begin? Well, hey, stay tuned, because in this episode, I'm going to show you a 52-year-old set. It has 33 cards in it with the likes of Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, and this up-and-comer by the name of Pete Rose. So stay tuned. So if you haven't figured it out by now, the set's the 1968 Topps game set. Like I said, it does have player cards of Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, Carl Yastrzemski, Al Kaline, Harmon Killebrew, and like I said, the up-and-comer. Of course, in 69, he was an up-and-comer, or 68, he was an up-and-comer, Pete Rose. So I'm going to flip this camera around and we're going to dive into this and take a look at this complete set. All right, here we go. So you can pick this set up for roughly about $150 on average, and it's depending on the grade, of course. I paid a little less than that for this one because it's not a real good grade. Some of the cards are good, some of them are not so good. But we're going to start off with card number 1 of Matty Alou, and we'll go through these cards one by one and talk about them a little bit. Some of them we will, some of them we won't. Matty was a 66 batting league title holder with the Pirates. You can see here, card does have a little age to it, and the backs look like this, kind of a blue border. These were notoriously for being miscut. You can see the borders there really off, but that's card number 1, Matty Alou. Okay, these next 5 or 6 cards really doesn't need any introduction. Here's card number 2. I showed this card 2 or 3 videos ago. Number 2, Mickey Mantle. See the back there, it's pretty good centered. Got card number 3 here of the Yaz, Carl Yastrzemski. Off left to right. Card number 4, Hank Aaron. Card number 5 here, Harmon Killebrew with the Twins. Here's his back card. Really off left to right. Card number 6, Roberto Clemente. See a crease in it there. It's a nice looking card though. Off, way off left to right. Card number 7 here of Frank Robinson. It's off the other direction. Card number 8. I'm sorry, yeah, card number 8, Willie Mays. Card number 9, Brooks Robinson. Quite a bit of staining on this one. And it, shuffling these cards and playing with them as a youngster, you really didn't care to keep them pristine. Of course, it's like the game cards back in the day, they're rounded off. We have game cards today, don't we, with Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. Well, this is kind of one of the first ones that Topps produced. All right, this next card is of Tommy Davis, center fielder, third baseman. Tommy, of course, you see here, he doesn't have a hat on, so he really is not affiliated with any teams. He played for 10 different ones, most notably the Dodgers. He was a National League batting champ in '62. He broke Roy Campanella's RBI record. He hit 153, and Roy Campanella's up to that point for the Dodgers was 142. So he's 3-time All-Star and a World Series champ in '63. So that's Tommy Davis. Okay, next up we have Bill Freehan. Bill here is a catcher for the Tigers for 15 years. 11-time All-Star, well, at least whenever he caught 75 games, or more, he was voted to the All-Star team. 5 Gold Glove winner, World Series champ in '68. Wrote a book in '69. It was called Behind the Mask, and it was kind of a diary of his playing career, his experience of the day. Later on in life, he became a coach with the Tigers and kind of mentored a great Tigers catcher by the name of Lance Parrish. So that is Bill Freehan. Back of that card. Next up, we have Claude Osteen. Claude here was a pitcher started out with the Redlegs, ended up with the White Sox in '75, which was his last year. 3-time All-Star, World Series champion in '65 with the Dodgers. Lifetime ERA 3.30, 196 wins. In '69, he had 20 wins with 7 shutouts, and in 41 starts with 16 complete games. So that is Claude Osteen, the Dodgers. Next up, we have Gary Peters, pitcher with the Red Sox and White Sox. 1963 Rookie of the Year with a 19-8 record, 2-time All-Star, American League win leader in '64. Old Gary here was often used as a pinch hitter, and in May of '68 hit a grand slam to help the White Sox beat the Yanks 5-1. Gary Peters. Back. Not a bad back. Here we have card number 14, Jim Longboard, a pitcher with the Red Sox and Phillies. Jim here was known as Gentleman Jim, but that didn't really hold true with him because he liked to pitch inside a lot. He was fearless when he did it. '67, he won the Cy Young Award. I think was the first Red Sox pitcher to garner that award. That year, he was the American League strikeout and win leader. He had 22, went 22-9 that year with 246 Ks. He is in the Red Sox Hall of Fame, by the way. That is Jim Longborg. Next up, we have card number 15, Steve Hargan, a pitcher with the Indians from '65 to '72. In '67, he made the All-Star team. That's because he led the American League with 6 shutouts that year. Steve Hargan. Next up, we got a player by the name of Dean Chance, right-handed pitcher with the Angels, Twins, Indians, Mets, and Tigers. He did pitch a no-hitter in '67 and is in the Angels Hall of Fame. Dean Chance, card number 16. Next up, we have a player by the name of Mike McCormick, pitcher, 4-time All-Star, San Francisco Giants, '67 National League Cy Young Award winner. He was 22-10 that year with a 2.85 ERA and 150 Ks. That's Mike McCormick. Spent 7 years with the Giants. So just staying back on that one. Next up, we have card number 18. You probably recognize this name, Tim McCarver, broadcaster. He was a catcher with the Cardinals, and in 2012, he was elected into the broadcasters wing in the Hall of Fame. So that's Tim McCarver, 2-time All-Star, World Series champ with the Cardinals in '64 and '67. Tim McCarver, player, broadcaster. Next up, have a player here by the name of Ronald Santo, third baseman with the Cubs primarily, 9-time All-Star, 5 Gold Gloves. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2012 under the Cubs hat there. His number 10 uniform number is retired with the Cubs. So that was pretty cool. Hall of Famer, Ron Santo. Here we have Antonio Gonzalez, the outfielder with the Phillies. Really nothing much notable about Antonio Gonzalez, although he was a right-handing pitcher hitting specialist. What makes that weird is he was a left-handed batter, which that's kind of counterintuitive or anti-production, whatever you want to call it. For his career, he hit right-handed pitchers at a 303 clip, 366 on-base percentage, and a 442 slugging. Left-handed pitchers, however, he batted only 219 with a 288 on-base percentage and 299 slugging. So really strange for a left-handed batter to hit a right-handed pitcher. Just really strange in my book. But Antonio Gonzalez, right-handed pitcher hitting specialist. Here we have card number 21, Mr. Frank Howard. Frank, left field, right field, first. Played primarily with the Dodgers and Senators and the Tigers. Coached from 77 to 99. National League Rookie of the Year in 1960. Four-time All-Star. Two-time American League home run leader. In 68, he had 44. In 70, he had 44. And he finished second in 69 with 48 to none other than Harmon Killebrew that year, who had 49. That is Mr. Frank Howard. Good player. Next up, we have George Scott, card number 22. He was the first baseman for the Red Sox from 66 to 79, three-time All-Star, 8 Gold Gloves. He was the American League home run leader. Well, he was tied for the lead in 75 with 36, tied with none other than Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. He was also that year the American League RBI leader with 109. He is in the Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame. That's Mr. George Scott. Here's probably the best player that you guys probably never heard of. Some of you haven't anyway. I didn't know a whole lot about him. Card number 23, Mr. Dick Allen. Played first and third, primarily with the Phillies, but he's also, he played with the Cards and the Dodgers, the White Sox, the A's. He was a National League Rookie of the Year in 64, 7-time All-Star, American League MVP in 72, 2-time home run leader in 72 with 37, and in 74 with 32. A lot of historians consider him probably the best player that's not been elected to the Hall of Fame. The Golden Era Committee, I had never heard of that committee, votes next year, 2021, for 2022. Maybe he'll get in then. But the best player you've never heard of, Mr. Dick Allen. Pretty cool. Next up, we have Jim Wynn, outfielder. Played in the majors from 63 to 1977, primarily with the Astros. 3-time All-Star, 250 career batting average, 1,105 runs scored, 291 home runs, 964 RBIs, and a .980 fielding percentage. Mr. Wynn here has his number 24 retired with the Astros, believe it or not. Mr. Jim Wynn, card number 24. Next up, we have Mr. Gene Alley, card number 25, shortstop. Played primarily with the Pirates from 63 to 73, 2-time All-Star and a Gold Glove winner, and a World Series champion in 1971, Mr. Gene Alley. Next up, we have Mr. Rick Monday, center fielder from 66 through 84, primarily claim to fame with the Dodgers, 2-time All-Star. Was on the World Series championship team with the Dodgers in 81. But his claim to fame, I'm sure you all have seen it, was in April of 76 when two protesters ran out onto the field of William Thomas and his 11-year-old son to burn an American flag. Rick Monday snatched it up and run it into the dugout. Next time he got up to bat, to a roaring crowd, you know, they was cheering him for that. The scoreboard flashed, "Rick Monday, you made a great play." Later, Rick said that if you're ever going to burn the flag, don't do it around me. I've been to too many veterans hospitals and seen too many broken bodies of guys who try to protect it. So you got to love Rick Monday here for his patriotism. Kudos, Mr. Rick Monday. Good job. Job well done. Rick Monday, card number 26. Well, this guy doesn't need any introduction. Card number 27, Mr. Al Kaline. Back there. Card number 28 is Mr. Rusty Staub, the Le Grand Orange. Mr. Staub here is in the Canadian Hall of Fame. Played 23 seasons, primarily with the Expos and the Mets. Next up, we have card number 29, Mr. Rod Carew. Mr. Carew is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. See, not a very good card. You see the creases and stuff down the bottom right corner. And this was marked on once upon a time. It says something there at the top. I can't quite read it, but I need to replace this card. But that's card number 29, Hall of Famer, Rodney Carew. Here's another guy that doesn't need any introduction. Card number 30, Mr. Pete Rose. Record holder in career hits, career singles, career at-bats, and career plate appearances. Mr. Pete Rose. I have a sore spot here. Mr. Rose, of course, you know the history behind him. Banned for gambling. Never bet against the Reds to lose. Always bet on his opponents to lose. But still yet banned for a lifetime for gambling. Yep, gambling was, at the time, I guess, illegal. But guess what? We're in the largest sign-stealing scandal ever in Major League Baseball history. The Houston Astros. Of course, we know what's going on there. The fines were levied down. General Manager Jeff Luhnow and manager A.J. Hinch were suspended for a year, but ultimately was fired by the owner, Jim Cranfield. But they also received, I think, a $5 million fine and loss of draft picks in 20 and 21. But really and truly, compared to what Mr. Rose did, I don't know, that was just a slap on the wrist, and that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I think that was too light of a penalty in my book. Yeah, sign stealing is legal as long as you don't do it electronically. And what were they doing? They were doing it electronically. So that's just my 2 cents worth. It's just how I feel about it. It's time we get Mr. Rose into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Who's with me? Here's another Hall of Famer, Mr. Joseph Torre, catcher, first baseman, third baseman, manager. Mr. Torre was elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2014. Good player, good manager. Card number 31 in this set, Mr. Joseph Torre, Joe Torre. Here's a pretty good player, Orlando Cepeda, card number 32. Mr. Cepeda, first baseman, primarily with the Giants. He played from 58 to 74, 11-time All-Star. Won the World Series in 67 with the Cards. National League MVP in 67. Two-time National League RBI leader. Led the National League in home runs in 61 with 46. Mr. Cepeda was elected to the Hall of Fame in 99 by the Veterans Committee, and coincidentally his number is retired. Number 30 is retired with the Giants. Card number 32, Orlando Cepeda. And then finally, card number 33, last card in the set. See, that one's off center. This is of James Fergosi, Mr. Jim Fergosi. Most of you probably heard of him. Primarily played with the Los Angeles, California Angels, 61 through 71. And then as a manager, he managed the Angels, White Sox, Phillies, I think the Blue Jays even, for about a year there. 6-time All-Star, Gold Glove winner in 67. In the Angels Hall of Fame, not the Baseball Hall of Fame, but the Angels Hall of Fame. And his number is retired with the Angels. Number 11 is retired with the Angels. So that's the last player in the set, Jim Fergosi, card number 33. Okay, for a real quick recap, here's some of the stars of the set. Matty Alou, Mr. Tim McCarver, Frank Howard, Rick Allen, Mr. Rick Monday, Rusty Staub, Jim Fergosi, and last but not least, I probably should have had this guy with the Hall of Famers, Mr. Pete Edward Rose. Now, some of the, for the Hall of Famers in the set, Mickey Mantle, Carl Yastrzemski, Hank Aaron, Harmon Killebrew, Roberto Clemente, Frank Robinson, Willie Mays, Brooks Robinson, Ronald Santo, Al Kaline, Rodney Carew, Joseph Torre, and Mr. Orlando Cepeda. This set, like I said, roughly you can pick it up for about $150 on eBay. So you factor it out, that's going to be roughly around $4 per card. Not bad for some 52-year-old player cards, for sure. So be sure to check them out. Check out these players. And until next time, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. And remember, whatever you do, help others in the hobby. God bless you. God bless America. And remember our troops. Our troops overseas, one deployed, and one back here at home. Until next time, everybody. Peace.